with prices below dealer cost and thousands off retail on your favorite Ford vehicles. Drive home a new Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Get behind the wheel of a Ford Mustang starting at $36,995. Or save big on the Explorer, Bronco Sport, Ranger, and Maverick. But hurry, all stock must go. Visit Triple J Ford in Upper Tumont today or get pre-approved instantly and shop online at triplejguam.com. Triple J Ford, customers first.
The road to Adelup is set. This time, we sit down with Democrat candidates Senator Joe San Agustin and former Senator Dwayne San Nicolas. Catch the full conversation that took place on May 8 on the Wave 105 YouTube channel. Stay informed and hear their vision for Guam's future. Wave 105 is a Glimpses of Guam radio station.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the show hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the staff or management of Wave 105.1 FM, Glimpses Media, or our partners. We strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, and we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105.1 FM. Enjoy the show.
Knowledge is power. In just 60 seconds, the Evo 360 provides you a unique experience and a detailed report of your body composition for you to take action to improve your health. The Evo 360, turning information into inspiration to live a balanced lifestyle. Evo 360 is exclusively at the Take Care Wellness Center. Go to Simply Book Me or call 671-646-6956 extension 7260 for more information and to schedule an appointment with a member of the Take Care Wellness team.
Military officer, law enforcer, policymaker. Service has been the cornerstone of Congressman James Moylan's life. James Moylan swore to protect America as an officer in the United States Army. As a parole officer, James worked with families affected by substance abuse and domestic violence. He was elected to the 35th and 36th Guam legislatures, and now James Moylan represents Guam's needs in our nation's capital as a member of the United States Congress. Congressman Moylan has fought for more than $3 billion for Guam, including almost $1 billion in military construction and roads, and law enforcement and first responder vehicles and equipment. Moylan is also working vigorously on standing up a regional office right here on Guam, a game changer for our 25,000 plus veterans, 40 years and 4 oaths. Dedicated, resilient, trustworthy, and proven. That's James Moylan. Re-elect James Moylan for Congress. Moylan works.
I'm James Moylan, a candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by James Moylan for Congress. David L. Camacho, Treasurer.
What do world champion martial artists Brandon Vera and DJ Jackson have in common with jazz great Patrick Palomo? They all teach Mount Carmel Academy Charter School students. Mount Carmel is now a charter school serving the entire island of Guam, voted Guam's best school, and is tuition free. We begin our 70th year of educating the complete child. Register today. Call 565-5128.
Wave 105, this is the BrightSide here. I want to thank our sponsors, and that's Chili's Grill and Bar. Chili's, more life, great food, and memories happen here. Micro Pack for sound, tech, and everything in between. Think Micro Pack. Subway, at Subway, you got to refresh to be fresh. Triple J, celebrate liberation with the Triple J Ford Liberation Celebration. Prices below dealer cost, thousands off retail, and F-150s starting at just $39,995. Visit Triple J Ford today. Customers first. And GTA, we start with you. We're going to start in just a bit with another round of the Beyond the Ballot. This time we'll have Senator Luis Borja and Mr. Dave Duenas in just a bit. And so keep it here. Wave 105. You can also call in 671-922-1051.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who've served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water. The school she can't attend most days. The breakfast she didn't have. The rain that hasn't fallen in months. The danger around the next bend. Her little brother's belly laugh. Her mother's hug. Her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
All right, Wave 105. My name is Pauly Suba. This is the Bright Side. We're doing something a little different here, and I really do appreciate our candidates today because I don't think this would have worked if we had anybody else, but they are no strangers to radio, right? And being hosts, and
microphones and headphones.
Yeah, unfortunately, I lost the microphone. Yeah, and so I didn't want you guys sharing microphones. So we're just going to do it this way if you don't mind, if that's okay.
Don't mind at all.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Fine.
So this again is Beyond the Ballot.
How do you feel being on that side?
I actually prefer it.
Alrighty.
I prefer it on this side, to be honest. But I really do appreciate the both of you coming in. And so for our listening audience, you have both Luis Borja, former senator, and Mr. Dave Duenas, no stranger to the Wave 105 airwaves, right? And I always appreciate Dave coming in. We haven't had Dave coming in a while because it wouldn't be fair to everybody else
FCC
that's
rules.
running, right? And so, again, if you're tuned into the YouTube channel, you're not seeing me. You're seeing both of them. And the reason why, again, is it would be very strange to have you sharing one microphone. So we'll just do it this way, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You should have just called me. I could have brought my own microphone in here.
Okay. And so let's just give our audience a little bit of a background, and we'll start with Senator Luis, former senator, right? I can't not call you senator anymore.
You know, I asked former Senator Tony Lamarena, when does that title go away? And he said it never does.
It never goes away. Yeah, it doesn't.
Once you get it,
Yes.
that's it. You're stuck with it. And it's because of the respect of the position that no matter what you do, even beyond your service in the legislature, you become senator for life. You know, so.
Yeah.
It's quite an honor to still be called that. Although sometimes I don't pay attention. I'm like, are they talking to me? Okay, I'll answer anyway.
Yeah.
But so how far back did you need me to go for the background? Gosh, it could go really far back.
I mean, we know you and your sister are amazing in the Radiance, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we really want to go back that far, I've been singing for 40 years. So
you don't have to go that back.
Well,
I just heard the Radiance 2 weekends ago.
Just out of high school,
Right.
I didn't join the Radiance, but I did join a band. I joined the Radiance back in 1990. And that was because my dad had my sister already in the band, and then decided, well, I got another daughter who can sing, so why don't I bring her in too? So we became that amazing harmony. Exactly. Well, not so much a dynamic duo, but even a trio, because my dad was part of that mix, you know. So our vocal harmonies were so well blended because we all share the same DNA.
Right.
But yeah, I'm celebrating my 40th reunion, which really reminds me of how long I've been singing as well.
Wow.
But you know, I think it's all relevant, right? Everything that I've done, even beyond the singing career, is led me up to this point. I feel like my communication skills developed, my people skills developed while I was in the band, and then the band led me to radio, and I became a midday host on Hit Radio 100 at the time through Rick and Ronnie. And that was back in 2004 in July 21st. So I've actually celebrated somewhat of an anniversary too there. And I do remember my very last day on radio, and it was really a hard decision. I was like, no, I don't want to leave radio. But I think my purpose and my mission became bigger, when I was asked to run for senator. And they asked me, they said, you should run for senator. I said, I can't. I'm not a politician. And they said, that's exactly why you should run. Because you're not a typical politician. You're more a people person. People can approach you. So I bit the bullet, I guess, and decided to run for office back in 2015. And then
2 terms, right?
2 terms. Right. So I was a senator for the 34th and 35th legislature. And
what kind of work did you do there in the legislature for those 2 terms?
Oh, well, I had the opportunity to be the assistant minority leader, and that's, for a freshman, that's a pretty honorable title, right? But because there was only 6 of us at the time, it was easy to determine who should be doing what.
Sure.
And of course, when you're in the minority, you pretty much have to lobby of what committees you want to be on. But I was lucky enough to be in public safety and in healthcare, and so that just stuck with me. And at the time,
you did some great work advocating for cancer patients.
Yeah. So and it was actually even my TV work when I was with Sorensen when we did My Story. That was really what led me to say that was going to be my platform, because I understood where the disparities were. I understood where the patients needed some help. There were some loopholes in the system, and so I wanted to make a systems change, and that's why I went into policy making. Yeah.
Dave?
Yes, sir.
Can you give us a little bit of a background?
Sure. Not very similar, actually, to Louise. I'm a radio, 40 years, give or take. Hit Radio, one of my first stations. K-Stereo, all of them. Sorensen, same thing. Kind of sounds familiar, huh?
Yeah.
And
I think we all had that same path somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
It's just something I really, really enjoy. I miss being back on radio, and as Pauly knows, and you can't be doing radio, having your own show when you're a candidate for public office. So I've been sitting out during this time. And should I make it to the general, I'll be sitting out a little longer. If I don't, I'll be knocking on Pauly's door saying, hey, take a break, go on vacation, do something.
Well, I did want to ask, what are your passions, right? I mean, you've ran a couple times already.
Sure.
And so what is the reason for continuing to run for this office?
Well, very simple answer. I just love Guam. I want to give back to the island that I really love. Though I'm a mestizo, half cat, well, half. I was born and raised as a Chamorro, and I'm just one of the proudest Chamorro. I'm just blessed to have Chamorro bloods running through my veins, and I just figure I haven't made it into the legislature yet, but I'm not a quitter. I'm going to keep going, and hopefully, God willing, I'll get in there sooner or later, and with your help. I'm talking about you people. Early voting ends tomorrow, as you know.
Yeah.
And August 1st is the primary election. So I'm looking for your vote of confidence. And hopefully, again, I just want to help. I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution.
Well, let's see if we can help Ed, if that's okay. Ed's on the line?
Oh,
sure.
We have a caller.
Half a day, Ed.
Half a day. How are you guys?
We're
Hi.
Fine, thank you. Biba Betness.
Oh, yeah.
Viva Friday, yes. I have a question for Louise.
Mm-hmm.
Louise, I don't know if it was already brought up, but there was, when you ran for senator, there was some discrepancy that happened, about, I think it was at the PUA or something.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that affected your campaign when you re-ran again? That's my question for you for now.
No. Actually, I don't. I don't think it affected it because at the time I didn't really choose to run again. So I'm just going to go back just a little bit before I answer your question. So when I ran for the first term, had only intended to run for one term because I had specific policies that I wanted to introduce, and I made it happen. And then the second term, again, it was should I run, should I not run? And it was the Cancer Coalition that encouraged me to run again for the 35th, so I did. And then when it came to the 36th, I'm like, I think I'm done. Like, I think I want to go and explore other opportunities to expand my horizons. So I was getting out. But then, of course, COVID hit and everything was just convoluted. It was like we didn't know where we were going, what we were doing. And I did have 2 jobs and I did lose income. So when PUA came out, there was a lot of people who said, oh, do we qualify? We don't qualify. Well, there were no rules yet, because it was a brand new program. No one really knew what was the qualifications. So I said, well, I lost a really good chunk of my income because everything shut down. I didn't have to sing anymore. I wasn't doing any more emceeing. It was a big part of my income. So I said, well, let me just apply. So I did, but I got a lot of criticism from applying. Here's the thing. I pulled my application before it was even reviewed, and somehow, somewhere,
it got leaked.
It got leaked, and my name was now all over the media. And they're like, "Oh, she's trying to, she's trying to cheat the system."
When you realize that that the rules were coming out, that you pulled it way before, right?
Way before, before. So actually, my application came out of Department of Labor. Before it was even announced on the air. And so, I think what was hidden there in that whole, everybody wanted to critique a public servant, right? Which is, it's obvious, it happens, right? It happens.
It does. It sure does.
Your personal life becomes public life, right? I think what happened there was that what was lost was that how did that information get out in the first place? Because that should be confidential.
Did we ever find out?
Nope. No.
Ed, do you have another question?
Well, I'll stick with Louise on this. Thank you for answering that.
Oh, of course, Ed. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry that happened like that. I mean, I guess maybe somebody that probably one of your, maybe a constituent or, voters that, how they are, they just attack.
Yeah.
And so moving on, my question for you, Louise, and then I'll ask Dave almost the same question, but looking back, what do you believe you could have done better? And what specific changes will the voters see if you are elected again?
Wow. Okay, those are big questions. But I do feel like being a part of the 34th and 35th, I was in the minority. So it was a little bit harder, like I mentioned earlier, to be in the committees that you specifically want. At the time, when I introduced bills, they would have to go through the Committee on Rules, and if the Committee on Rules don't get your bills placed on the
agenda?
on the agenda for public hearing, then your bills will never really be heard. And so, for me, I would like to serve in the majority so that whatever I feel is important to the community will come out, and the public can have their input on whether it's a good bill or not. And I think that's one of the things that I would love to change is that, everyone's bill should be heard by the public, whether you're in the minority or the majority.
Ed, did you want to ask that same question to Dave? He hasn't been in legislature.
No, he hasn't been elected, Dave. And just for your information, I like the new people. And, I like to give everybody a chance. I mean, I think a lot of us do. And the way the island runs is, of course, popular names and, who and it's, and the money and all that. And good old Dave here, I know you've been around in the media a lot, but you seem not to be getting elected. I mean, like Sean, you got Sean, you got the I call them the media Mongols, the Sean Gumatautas, Sabrina Salas.
Yes, they're all there.
Chris Barnett, yeah.
Correct.
But
Matanani.
Dave, you've been in it, and what do you think Dave is not getting you in there?
Well, I'm gonna tell you. That's a good question, and it's nobody's fault but my own. I kind of march to the different drum. Number one, I don't do fundraisers. I never did, never ever did, and that's a personal choice. For those that do it, I know why they do it. You got to make money to have the advertising, but I don't. I'd rather you take your money and use it for your family. And at the second reason why is I don't, like even in this campaign, I get criticized for it all the time. How come you didn't go to this particular gubernatorial pocket meeting? I said, well, I didn't want to go, I don't, again, marching to a different drum. I just do things differently, and yes, there's a consequence for that. It makes it more difficult.
It's not popular. I understand it's not popular when you try to do things different.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's not all about that when you're a service. You can't please everybody. I understand you, Dave. Man, I'm just really bummed. At least give you that one chance, and I hope this time around that Luis, you do get back in there, and Dave as well.
Thank you.
I'll look forward for you guys in the the new legislature. I'm sure you'll probably make it on the first round. It's the second round that's very difficult. But new faces, is kind of weird. But we got the gubernatorial candidates, but we got family members that are running in the legislature, and nepotism. I don't go for that, Dave. I think that's one of your backside there that you have in.
Yeah,
that you
no,
don't
absolutely.
Appreciate. And Luis, I don't know you were married to a Muñoz, so all due respect.
No,
but I wish you guys luck, and thank you for asking the question. I'll leave time for the other.
Thank you. Thank you, Ed. I wanted to expand on that. I think persistence is definitely on your side, Dave, because campaigning is hard. Running for office is hard. When you're running for office, no matter where you go, you're running for office. Even you don't have to attend a pocket meeting. You don't have to go. All you have to do is stand in line at the bank to cash your check or whatever it is you're going to do. And people will talk to you and tell you what their issues are. I think that's exactly part of the process, and not necessarily having to go to all of these different
I just do things differently. That's all.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, thank you, Ed.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Appreciate
I like that. Yeah, different.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. But like I said, I'm not a quitter. I'm going to keep plugging it along, and granted, just like the fundraiser thing, people criticize me. Said, why you don't do fundraiser? I just don't. I'd rather you take your money and go pay your bills and give some to your kid. Go to the mall, what have you. Yeah. I'd rather you do that.
Well, if you notice too that that's pretty much. I mean, I don't want to say that it's politically trendy to have a fundraiser, but everyone's doing it now for whatever reason.
Many
right?
of them.
Medical fundraisers. I mean, that just speaks of what the community is going through now, right? People just can't afford it, so they have to have fundraisers.
No, true.
Right. So, even if we don't go to political fundraisers, we still have to go to all of the medical fundraisers, right?
I do have another phone call.
Oh, okay.
Kaduku.
Oh, I love the name.
Dave knows Kaduku.
Oh, I know him very well.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one question for both of you.
I didn't do it.
Wait, I know you didn't do it. Somebody did it. But when you both get into office, we've got this problem with white-collar crime in our system and some of our leaders, and what you guys going to do to stop that kind of thing, because it's flourishing in our government, and it's not nice because some people use their position and their knowledge to enrich themselves, and someone's got to put a stop to that, because they're not even afraid of the feds anymore. They learn how to do it and steal it legally. So what are you guys going to do about that when you both go into office? And one more thing, Therese Talai is being a parish for governor and lieutenant governor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kaduku. I remember that voice too.
Yeah. He's got a unique voice. Believe me.
Yes, absolutely. I think the judicial laws are definitely very strong when it comes to something like that. If the federal is going to find it, they will find it.
Yes.
And persecute to however way they can, to what the law allows. But he's right. You need to be a little bit more transparent with what's happening in our leadership, because it's hard. It's really hard to see that happening, like within our.
And you're right, Louise. The feds will do their job, and they do it well. But there's also a thing that I believe in, and that is, if you know of something, it's called a tip. You give a little tip and get the ball rolling.
I mean, we can't dodge the laws of the federal government when they're giving you monies. So Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Mhm.
That's why I pulled my application. I was like, no, I'm not going to get in there.
We have
Yeah.
Mr. Brian Miranda.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian. Happy.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing
hey,
well.
Louise, I'm glad to see you running again.
Thank you, Brian.
I did my early voting, so I'll tell you both. I did vote for both of you. So.
Oh, my gosh, I hope not. I hope not.
Well,
I mean, I'm only
actually,
saying I
you
hope not
couldn't
because,
have.
you know, like, we don't want you to, like, spoil the vote.
You know,
Brian.
Brian-
No, hey,
Brian.
you know,
okay.
but I wanted to, biggest thing I called, I'm trying to get out. Our VFW 4th of July barbecue is going to be 2 August.
Okay. It got postponed because of the typhoon, right?
Typhoon
Got
and
it.
then trying to get pavilions. The date I got was 2 August.
Where
We're going
at?
to do it same time, same place. So everybody's invited. Come
August
on down.
2, right?
In
Thank you.
Chico,
Yeah,
right?
so Brian has I've been communicating with Brian many times. He even helped, he was working with me when I was working for Payless Community Foundation,
Nice.
or the Payless supermarkets. And we got some of the veteran signs up there, right, Brian? That was us,
Yeah,
right?
you got one at every store.
One at every store. We were able to get a veteran parking spot at every Payless supermarket, so that was pretty cool.
We're up to 191 of the veterans parking signs installed.
Wow.
So,
So you know, I still see some people, you know, parking there that, you know, we're not quite sure if they've been veterans or not. But that's a good question. How is that enforced? You know.
True.
you know how that's enforced? The good Lord knows.
Right.
So that's how that's enforced.
It really does come down to respect.
Exactly.
You see, you know that you're not a veteran. You shouldn't be parking there.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
and I've seen them pull in, see that sign, back out, and go park in a handicap.
Yeah. That's how much they respect the
Right.
veterans,
I
right?
appreciate this, Brian. You got anything else?
No, that's it. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Well, I guess on the topic of veterans, right? I mean, we've seen a number of times some of the most busiest public hearings are when the veterans are advocating for an issue and coming to the legislature. And so I'll ask the veteran first.
Sure.
Do you have any ideas on how to address veterans' benefits? And it could be a number of things. There are a number of ways to skin a cat. I understand that the Veterans Affairs Office has now moved over to Hagåtña. I'm sure you know this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so,
the old Chancery building?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are a number of ways that we can support. There are so many issues regarding lack of service, maybe the need to expand the veterans cemetery. We don't have to tackle all of the issues.
Yeah, well, you know, in line with that, they also have that new facility next to GMRC.
Okay.
Yeah, they have that one as well. You know, we're heading in the right direction. It's just, and I'm glad you brought up the veteran cemetery. You know, the one we have now, of course, sometimes is good, sometimes not. But one of your frequent callers, you know what I'm talking about.
Joe Maulik?
That's right.
He's
You know,
asking to expand over in Lahan.
I'm 100% in favor of that. He wants to do a village community veteran cemetery. I said, yeah, let's have one in the south, central, maybe in the northern side as well. I'm all about that. We need to get funding for it, of course, but that's where maybe grants would come in. You know, I would. Should I make it into the legislature? Number one, first and foremost, I would have as part of my staff grant writers. Not only are we going to appropriate money, we're going to bring money in. You know, that's what the legislature do: policy and appropriate money. But I'm going to take it a little different. I'm going to do that as well, but also hire and employ some really good grant writers. There's millions of dollars out there that can assist not only veterans but every other thing.
I wanted to give Senator an opportunity to respond. Any way that we can address assisting veterans?
Yeah, you know, and I completely understand veterans have some of the louder voices, right? I mean, they've seen atrocities in their lifetime that we probably never would even understand, right? So I do appreciate it when they come out really strong and talk about what their needs are. I think we've come a long way, like you said.
Yes, we have.
Access is
Getting
probably
better.
the biggest I guess speed bump, right?
Mm-hmm.
Access to information, access to filling out forms, and we've got a pretty good number of nonprofit organizations now that's helping veterans, and they're helping push that forward. So I think I would like to support more of the nonprofit organizations that are helping the veterans.
We have Joe Maulik on the line. We were just talking about him, right?
Hey.
Joe Maulik.
Yay!
Joe Friday.
Joe Friday.
Joe
There
Friday.
you go.
Joe Bettness.
I call
Wow.
him Joe Friday.
Okay.
How about day, Joe? Malik.
Who is the lady there? I know this.
Who's
It's
that?
not Dave.
You mean
It's-
the beautiful
I'm
lady?
Louise. I'm Louise. Half a day. Joe Maulik, Louise Borja.
How are you guys doing?
I'm good.
Doing
Thanks.
Dave, I know you. You're doing well, right?
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Joe Malik, Joe Friday, Joe Saturday. It depends on what day he calls.
Okay.
Joe Monday.
So today's Joe Friday.
But, Joe Malik, I
Yes.
haven't forgotten about the veteran cemetery in the South. I really haven't. And that's definitely going to be something I would definitely push for. Not only the South, but I wouldn't mind having one in my village. in Dedham.
Let me add on to that, Dave.
Sure. By all means.
Mauricio veteran and Yumala veteran. The PV veteran can be a central area for those veterans in PV. The northern cemetery also can be providing the Zigu, the little harbor.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we need the southern cemetery. And another thing about the medical appointment. Long time ago, Dr. Semenego Asibak, she borrowed a DOD vehicle. She went down to a Southern Regional Clinic once a week, one time a week to catch up with all the veterans that are behind medical checkup. She brought down the nurse, Dr. Semenego, and borrowed the DOD vehicle to travel down to the Southern Regional Clinic. And that is once a week. She also travels up to Northern. I know that because she used to take care of us down here in the South, and she also told me or asked the veteran that she also travels up to the North. And the northern side, she told me that twice a week. The South is only once a week. And
I think
borrowed
also-
the DOD vehicle.
Yeah. I think also Luis can also talk to just how important the northern and southern public health clinics are too, right?
Yeah.
And why it's so vital to the southern villagers, right? Because he's talking about travel distance,
Okay.
right? And so
Okay.
sometimes they miss their appointments. Sometimes there's a small time frame to pick up their medicine, and especially our Manumku, right?
Yes.
They don't always have the time or the energy to go to travel long distances. And so that all is connected just as much as like why they need a veteran cemetery closer to home too, because they want to visit their loved ones.
Yeah.
They don't want to travel clear across the island. So I think we can touch on a couple, just the fact that we need services closer,
Okay.
especially the southern
Yeah.
villages.
Yeah, absolutely.
That oftentimes feel like they get neglected. Senor,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Joe
Thank
Malik.
you so much. No, I totally understand that. So
Absolutely.
I mean,
Thank you, Joe.
I think what we need to do is put a little bit more of our resources into the northern and southern public health. I really think that Southern Public Health is underutilized.
100%.
That building is, half the time you see it's empty. Like, why is that? Why are there not a lot of people coming to this location here, especially the people in the South? So I think we need to provide a little bit more resources down there, provide more specialists to be there, to be available for all of the Southern residents. So I would focus a lot more on the health centers and give them what they need.
Yeah, because I would even just say that PT is actually more central than southern, and definitely it's not close to the Inalahan, the east side, right?
Yes.
They have to travel across the Cross Island Road to get
Yeah.
all the way over. So people sometimes would lump the southern villages together, but it's like
It's
what
still
is
far.
the
Right.
distance?
Yeah.
Right? It is a long travel time for Señot to go to the Veterans Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, again, it's connected too, right? Because the Southern Public Health, if we lose those services, imagine them driving
Having to go all the way up to the
way up.
GMH or even to Northern Public Health.
Right,
Yeah.
and we're trying to advocate more that to help the community know that these community health centers can be your healthcare provider,
Yeah.
your primary healthcare provider.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they've even expanded a lot by providing more services such as OBGYN. They've got some specialty doctors now coming on board, which is they're really expanding, plus their mobile health clinic. And I really think that's another jewel that public health has, is that mobile health clinic. Now they can take that out into the community.
Is that Dennis? No.
No, they have their own.
No, so
Public Health has
Public
their
Health
own,
has
yeah.
their own mobile health clinic. As a matter of fact, probably twice the size of Toto's.
Oh, okay.
But they just recently acquired it while I was on board at Public Health, and now the villages have the opportunity to reserve it for their particular villages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely, Pauly, the Southern Regional Clinic.
Yeah,
Totally
but
underutilized.
I think Joe was talking more about access to services,
Yeah.
and also like veterans like cemeteries.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Well, the cemetery, I'm sold on that 100%.
Yeah.
You know, I just need to get in there and see what I can do to make it a reality. And with your help, Louise, we can
all
do
right,
it.
let's do it.
No, we can do it.
We're ready.
We can.
Well, let's talk about that too, right? Let's talk
bah.
about working across the aisle. And
I like
so,
that.
as a senator, right, how have you? Can you give us an example of when you were? I mean, you kind of did earlier. I heard you saying that, even though you were in the minority, right, you were still given the opportunity to have your bills heard and whatnot,
yes.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every senator does, but not every bill goes through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can all say, okay, this is going to be our agenda today. Can you please put this on the Committee of Rules agenda? Right?
Sure.
It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes you have to lobby. Sometimes you have to say, hey, okay, can you just put this one in now, because this is the most important. We need to get this done. If it's time sensitive, then we put it on there as quickly as possible. But it really is about negotiating. You know, I mean, people say you can pound your fist and say, I'm going to get this done and do this, but you have to remember there are 14 other people in there that you have to convince that that's a good thing. You know, so if you don't have the proper facts, data is so important. You can talk up a storm and how great something is, but if you don't have the data to back it up, you're never going to get anywhere. So if you have the right information, data, and all the resources that you need to make this bill happen, it's easier to get something passed even across the party lines.
You know, that's a little pet peeve for me. The legislature, you know, you hear that all the time, the praise. You know, my colleague across the aisle, I think right then and then that divides them. What I would envision to be a perfect situation in the legislature is when you win and you get a seat, in this case the 39th, you already got in, you're going to be a senator. So when you show up to work on the first day, leave your party behind. Leave it behind. You know, I would even go further to put a plaque outside the session hall, a plaque saying, let's not seek the answer from the Democrat or the Republican. Let's just seek the best answer, the right answer. You know, put a plaque like that. That was a quote by one of my favorite presidents, JFK. Then there's another president, another famous president, Abraham Lincoln. What is it? For the people, by the people, stuff like that. Same thing. Two separate presidents. One was a Republican, one was a Democrat. And again, we just need to get into the mindset that when you win your seat as a senator, as a policymaker, you're now there to work for the people, not the party, nobody else, no self-interest, none of that. You're there for the people. So leave it at home. I'm not going to be using no phrase like, hey, my colleague across the aisle. Well, who you talking about me?
We only have a few more
Yeah,
minutes.
I got a good question.
Yeah.
So what made you choose to be a Democrat then?
My dad, actually.
Okay.
When I decided to get into politics, I went to the guy who raised me, and he did a good job of that. And I said, Dad, what is our family's political party? And he says, Democrat.
So you're following the tradition.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I followed the tradition.
I probably could have done the same thing too, but I didn't. So my family are Democrats.
Okay.
My grandfather was a very strong Democrat. He followed. He was very close friends with Ricky Berdalio.
Yeah.
And so I've always grown up to know that I needed to vote Democrat because of that influence, right? And then when I started to realize that where my personality is and what were some of the initiatives that I want to pass through, I realized that I'm probably a little bit more of a Republican because I believe in, growing the economy. I believe in people fending for themselves, and I believe in pro-life, Then I realized, okay, I'm actually a Republican. So when I announced to my family, I'm running for office, you could hear a pin drop. They're like, what? Really? Why would you do that? I said, because I feel like I could be a great public servant.
Why?
And they're like, and then I said, and I'm running as a Republican. Oh, but my auntie, she said, your grandfather's rolling in his grave right now, right?
Well, you still got in.
Yeah, I still got in.
So I'm pretty sure you still got the support from your family.
Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, they understood. I had to
Right.
explain to them why I felt like,
Sure.
that my moral standing was more. But I live my life pretty much as a public servant. So and I help people who are in more disparate communities. And so I feel like I could.
I think we want the same things, right? When it really comes down to it, we all want the same things.
Yes.
We want safer streets. We want
Better access to health.
standardized
Yep.
education, right?
We want cheaper groceries.
Right.
Better roads. Get rid of the
Right.
junk vehicles.
We want
all
to
of
be
that.
able to afford our utilities on
Right.
a day-to-day
Exactly.
basis, right? These are the things that we all want, right? So when we get in there, that's what we should be fighting for. An
Exactly.
opportunity to be able to afford to wake up the next day. A lot of people go to sleep thinking, how am I going to afford to feed my kids tomorrow? How am I going to afford to put gas in the car to get to work tomorrow so that, I can get to work? People think about these kind of things, right? So we need to figure out how to make life more livable, and the quality of life is very important too.
Louise, I'm sure you get this question very often like I do. And, what is the number one thing you're going to tackle or introduce? My answer is always the same. I don't have one. Why? Because I'm going to tackle all of them.
Oh, okay.
And the reason you say, how can you do that, Dave? You're only one senator. I said, there's 14 other of us.
That's true.
That's where we're going to come in there, work as a team, forget about our party, We have to pick a party when we run. Unfortunately, we have to do that. So, but once we get in there, you're no longer representing the party. You're representing the people that put you in there. So when they ask me what number one thing you're going to do, I'm going to tackle every single one of them. Why? How I'm going to do it? I'm going to get 14 others. Okay, I'll tackle this one. You tackle that one. We'll put our heads together, come up with introduce some good bills.
Some people will argue that we have enough laws and bills, and so
we do.
Yeah.
We do.
I think one of the first things that I intend to do is not revise, but update some of the laws, because why do we have to keep
Not
writing
only
a new
update,
one?
but
when we
delete
have-
some of them.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them are, just in the books, just sitting there, But I
Exactly.
think what I'd like to do is update some of our access to
Sure.
healthcare, right? So those are the first things
Update
I
some.
intend to do when I get into office is get in there and update our access to healthcare.
No, that's
that's all.
fantastic.
It all connects to the economy as well. When you look
Yes.
at better education, better health care,
Yeah.
safer streets, it leads to a healthier economy. Nobody
Exactly.
wants to live in an unsafe community.
Yes. And I like to believe too, and I said this in another interview, that, you could have 1,000 problems, but the minute you have a health problem, that's the only one you have. You know, because nothing else matters if you're not well enough.
Well said. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Well, we have about 7 minutes, so I just wanted to give you guys, see, time
That's
flies
a lifetime,
by, right?
though. In radio, 7 minutes is a
Well,
long.
all of this just flew by.
That's
so
true.
I really don't want you to rush. I just want you, talking to our audience, you have the opportunity to share anything that we might have missed that is very top of mind for you moving into the 39th Guam legislature. And so we'll start with you, Senator.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the first dibs. So again, my name is Louise Borja, and I think one of the things that I really want to focus on is that, you know, people still know me as Louise Muña. And so they're like, I don't see your signs anywhere. And I'm like, oh, yeah, because you need to be looking for Louise Borja and not Muña. And so, you know, I just wanted to reiterate that. It's Louise Borja now, and it's okay. I don't disrespect anybody who still calls me Muña, but my last name now is Borja. And so that's one of the things. And I'm number 11 on the Republican side. So if you do choose to vote Republican on the, you know, on the primary, please go down the line and look for 2 number ones. And I tell that to a lot of people too. You know, I wish so much for one that God gave me 2 of them.
Oh, good.
And so, but I think I still can be a very big part of the policy making in the 39th Guam legislature, and that's why I put in my hat to run. I worked for public health for 2 years, and I realized in all of my outreach and my coalition work that we needed a healthcare champion in there. And I thought, that should be me. No one's going to fight harder about all of the things that I've been working on for the last 2 years than me. I should be the one that the Cancer Coalition is going to come to say, you know, can we have this policy so that we can take care of our people? How about the Diabetes Coalition? Why do we have such a big diabetes population here? Well, let's figure out how we can change that, whether it be through systems change, through environmental change, or through policy. That should be me. That's what I'm thinking when I go out and I do all of my work. I was a president for Vero, and for 4 years. And I kept thinking, we need more policy to protect the children and women and families from domestic violence and sexual abuse. That should be me. You know, when I see a child going through, you know, trying to get a wish from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and they don't have access to care. They have to travel off island every single time they get treatment, and something needs to change. That should be me. You know, I should be in there talking about all of these things that I've experienced coming out of the legislature in 2020, and that's why I want to run again. That should be me.
Thank you so much. Dave?
Yes, sir.
Feel free to take as much time as you need.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Pauly. I'm Dave Duenas, number 9, Democrat, and I'm running again because I love my island. You know, I want to do the best I can, and that's all I can offer. And just to reiterate, I don't have a single thing that I want specifically to do. I want to tackle everything from healthcare to the drug, you know, the rampant drugs we have, the abandoned vehicles. Matter of fact, abandoned vehicles is a big pet peeve for me. I can't for the life of me, to this day, figure out why we can't get a handle on it. You know, you've heard about it, a staging area. You've heard DPW directors say, we don't have enough room. You know, it went from the mayors, they gave it up. You know, I was in the board of directors for EPA, and we were tasked with divvying out some funding, you know, to the mayors. But the mayors took over it, and then the mayors said, we don't want it anymore. You know, we're not getting support, and it's not enough money. But again, I definitely want to get in there, into the 39th Guam legislature, but I can only do that if you, the people of Guam, give me your vote of confidence, and I hope you do that this time around. I'm Dave Duenas, again, originally from Sinania, Dedadu now, been Dedadu since 71, and can't be prouder. I'm just such a proud Chamorro. You know, when I was in the Air Force, I tell all my American friends, Caucasian, I said, you guys are dime a dozen. What? I said, yeah, I'm a rare breed. I'm rare. I'm more rare than the Eskimo. And they look at me kind of strange, and they kind of shake their head. Yeah, you're right. Where do you live, Dave? Oh, in Dededo, right next to the jungle. Really? Aren't you scared? No. Aren't you scared of the lions and the tigers? I said, no, we don't have that. We only got
wild
pigs and deer. And,
I'm scared of those too.
Anyway.
Sometimes the balaku could be more scarier than the lions.
Yes, but, again, I'm Dave
Tanu.
Thank you, Pauly, for allowing us to be on the show.
Thank you
really
so much.
I appreciate this platform. And, I love the calls. For me, that's the best part, right? Is actually communicating with the public. And whenever we get a chance to go out there and talk and, answer questions, maybe something that's been bothering them about the community or even the person themselves, come up to me and talk to me. I have an open door. If I'm at the bank again, lining up, paying my bills, come and talk to me. Don't be afraid.
Well, the worst part, too, is when somebody goes to the poll thinking one thing, and that's the whole reason why they voted or didn't vote for somebody. And then when they get clarity, like Ed, right, or anybody, when they're listening to these conversations, whether it's on this platform or anywhere else, they're getting more educated. Right. They're getting clarity. Right. And so now they're going to the poll with a clearer mind.
Yes.
Yeah, and that story you conveyed, you pulled it out way before.
Yeah.
It definitely got leaked.
I did. And so I try to talk about that even after the incident happened, right? But no one was hearing it anymore.
No.
It was just because I was a senator, and that was all they
Very
heard.
true. But I can work with you. I know I can work with you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think that's the beauty of going into the legislature is the ability to work with your colleagues.
Absolutely.
It's not about
It's
party
crucial.
lines. It's about working with your coworkers.
Yes.
Is what it is.
Well, thanks for coming in. I really appreciate this. There's only a few more, actually 2 more tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow is the last day for
voting,
early voting.
right?
Yes.
And then we all vote again in the primary. For those that haven't voted, August 1st, Saturday, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah. Can I do a little pitch, though?
Yes.
So, early voting's at Weston.
Yes.
I sing at Weston on Saturdays.
There you go.
So when you're done voting, just come down to
All
the
right.
lobby and then enjoy some music because you did you did your civil duty. You went and you voted. Just come
And you
down
get 10% off.
show
on
me
your
your show me your yes you do. I was going to say show me your ticket. I'll give you 10% off, but that's already a given.
I beat you to it, huh?
I know.
This was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Might want to just have everybody else do it this way. They're probably not going to be as your transitions were perfect too. So
thank you.
you're all
Thank you.
naturals.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We
all right,
appreciate that.
we're going to get out of here. We're going to take
Okay.
this break and get to the 5 o'clock hour. Again, Senator Luis Borra, thank you so much for coming in.
You're very welcome.
And Dave Duenas,
Thank you.
we appreciate you very much. So once again, we'll get you your AP news right here on Wave 105. Biba Betness!
Viva.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. U.S. military carried out strikes on Iran for a 13th straight night. Central Command saying drone facilities, coastal surveillance, and other sites were targeted. Earlier, President Trump said,
"They need more of the same. They're not ready yet. They got some evil intentions."
The president also spoke of U.S. casualties.
I had a very sad day yesterday. I went to Dover. 4 great American patriots killed. That's 18 in 2 wars, and 1 is too many. But it's 18, whereas in Vietnam we lost 200,000. We lost thousands and thousands in Afghanistan. We lost thousands in every war. The Korean War, thousands, and these wars all lasted for years, and we want to get it over with.
The latest attacks came after Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels said